Hey everybody, how's it going? This is a continuation of the Power Weapon, Power Fist video. This is Lightning Claws and Thunder Hammers. Again, a Space Marine geared video. That's what I play, so that's what I'm probably going to be talking about. Chaos can still, I don't want to say chime in, but can still get something out of this. They do have Lightning Claws, so here we go. I'm not going to be talking about the benefits of them on Terminator armor, or how to equip your Terminator armor, assault squads, or whatever. I'll be talking about Terminators, Deathwing, yes, but Terminators in the future, as I do more work on the Deathwing army. So, I'm focusing more so, not so much on what armor they're wearing, but what weapons they have. So, Lightning Claws, let's start off with that. They can be taken singularly, meaning just one, or twin Lightning Claws, a pair. You only can get the +1 attack with a pair of Lightning Claws. Other than that, they have all the strengths and weaknesses of a power weapon. They ignore armor, they go at initiative, they strike at your own strength. But you need 2 Lightning Claws to get +1 attack in close combat. So that's how the Lightning Claws work. 1 Lightning Claw costs as much as a Power Fist. 2 Lightning Claws cost the same amount as a Thunder Hammer, which is higher than a Power Fist. So let's jump over to Thunder Hammers really quickly now. Oh, before we do that, I should probably talk about the added bonus of the Lightning Claw, The Lightning Claw lets you reroll fail rolls to wound, which is nice. That's why it costs more. So pretty much what you're getting for what you're paying for is a power weapon that rerolls fail rolls to wound and requires 2 of its same type to what's it called? To I just blanked. To get the +1 attack in close combat. There we go. So that's the Lightning Claw. Let's move over to the Thunder Hammer. The Thunder Hammer is basically a Power Fist with an added bonus to it. It costs as much as 2 Lightning Claws, so it's pretty expensive as a weapon upgrade. What it does is all the strengths and weaknesses of a Power Fist. Strikes at initiative 1, doubles your strength, requires 2 Thunder Hammers, you get a +1 attack in close combat, it ignores armor. And on top of that, when you wound a model but don't kill it, so if you wound a unit, like an infantry or a monstrous creature thing, but it's not dead, but it has taken a wound from a Thunder Hammer, it goes at initiative 1 next player turn as you essentially stun it. And against vehicles without an initiative value, so tanks, pretty much, and other vehicles like that, when you roll on the vehicle damage table, no matter what you roll, you add Crew Shaken on top of that. Now, this really only matters when you roll a weapon destroyed or a vehicle immobilized, but it is still handy nonetheless. Unless you're demonically possessed or have power of the machine speed, you really can't get around that, which is nice. So that's what the Thunder Hammer does. Now, I looked in the main rulebook. I couldn't find anything that says anything specific as far as vehicles with an initiative value. And I don't remember the FAQ stating anything on it either. I only looked at it twice, so I don't really know it back to back or front to back or whatever you want to call it. But if you smacked my Dreadnought with a Thunder Hammer and you roll on the vehicle damage chart, whatever you rolled, that's great. Provided he's still alive, he would go at initiative 1 next turn because he has an initiative value, and the Thunder Hammer pretty much drops things with initiative value to 1 for initiative for the next player turn. That's how I would do it, personally. If there is something in the rulebook and I just missed it, which is entirely possible, just please point out the page, and that'd be great. So that's the Lightning Claw and the Thunder Hammer. I'm not comparing the two together. They both serve different roles, just like the Power Weapon and the Power Fist serve different roles. It's also important to point out, if I didn't do so in the beginning, that these weapons are not widespread across a Space Marine army like Power Weapons and Power Fists are. Pretty much any unit that can take a weapon upgrade for close combat can take a Power Weapon or a Power Fist. It's not true with a Thunder Hammer or a Lightning Claw. For Dark Angels, for example, the Company Master and the Company Veteran Squads are the only 2 that can take Lightning Claws or Thunder Hammers. In the generic Space Marine Codex, and I believe the ones printed after it, the captain the veterans, and the assault marines, I believe, can take him as well. And I think they're command squad, although I'm not entirely sure. So it's not as widespread. So what you attach, not what you attach, but what you do with your upgrades also depends on what squad is taking it. For example, a combi weapon cannot be taken by an assault marine squad, last I checked, by the sergeant, but your captain can. So what you combined the Thunderhammer with, whether it be just a storm shield like it usually is, or some other weapon, depends on the squad it's being upgraded with, or upgraded on. And the Lightning Claw depends if you're taking 1 or 2. If you're taking 2, that's pretty much all you need. So I'm not going to compare those two weapons. As I said, they're different roles. I'm not even going to compare Power Weapon and Lightning Claw. I'm going to talk about what you should consider maybe one over the other. So first and foremost, with Space Marines, I find a good fall-out weapon, if you have no idea what you're going to do and you don't want to spend too many points, just a power weapon. It is a bit of a deterrent, and it gives you a little bit extra added punch in close combat. Now, if you're going to be primarily going up against infantry, but you're concerned because maybe you roll like crap like I do, or you probably you know you're going to be going up against Plague Marines, or you have a pretty good chance you're going to go up against that, or something the toughness 5 like Immortals or whatever, or you just want to get as maximum woundage out of your model as possible. And the points don't bother you too much, provided you have the points to spend. I would suggest looking into at least 1 Lightning Claw. Reason being, you reroll failed rolls to wound. It helps against higher toughness models, and it even helps against models that of the same toughness as your strength, or lower. It just helps you get as much wounds as possible, which is pretty much what you're trying to do in this game anyway. Now, the reason why I say just at least take 1 for that, because you only need 1 to get the benefit of rerolling failed rolls to wound. You need 2 for the +1 attack in close combat. Now, it all depends on who you're upgrading and everything like that. Usually, for example, when I see a captain upgraded with it, he has 2. Just because, you know, add +1 attack, he's a captain, get in there, cut things up. Now, whether you take 1 or 2, it's going to be more expensive than a power weapon. I believe 2 is double the price of a power weapon, and 1 is almost double. So it is a bit more pricier, but it's worth it because, well, it's worth it if you really are worried about wounding models in close combat. Obviously, you're not going to be thinking about doing this if you're going to be going against vehicles. We'll be talking about power fists or thunderhammers and stuff, but it's definitely something to consider. Now, with thunderhammers and power fists, on the other hand, it's a different spectrum. This is going up against high toughness models or vehicles, and then the question is, are you worried about a model surviving close combat with the guy with the thunderhammer? Now, most people aren't worried about that when a thunderhammer assault squad of Terminators is bearing down on something. They usually expect to kill it in that turn, usually, or get killed themselves. I'll talk about Terminators again in their own video. But if it's just one guy with a power fist in a squad, like an assault marine squad, or yeah, pretty much an assault marine squad, or some type of other veteran squad, or even your HQ, if you're going to be hunting monstrous creatures and vehicles, and you're worried about the fact that he may not kill it in one shot, and you don't want to weather another round of attacks before you go again, the Thunderhammer is something to consider. It's a little bit more expensive than a Power Fist, but the benefit of, okay, I wound it, is going at the same time as me next turn, at the very least, that's good, is helpful. You can drag down high toughness models that way. You can it helps drag down the higher toughness models that way. And against vehicles, it's just an added comfort that, okay, I destroyed a weapon and now I can't shoot this turn, or I immobilized it and now I can't shoot, unless of course it's possessed or has Power of the Machine Spirit. So again, it's something to think about. We're not looking at power weapons and lightning claws versus power fists and thunderhammers. We're looking at the power fist and the thunderhammer in this case, and is the added benefit of the Thunderhammer worth it? And some people do think that it is, and that's great. I personally do like Thunderhammer. I think aesthetically it looks a lot better than a Power Fist. Personally. But rules-wise, you have to make sure you're going to be able to utilize it to its full effect. Like, are you just going to be hunting dedicated transports and stuff to pop them and then attack what's inside and just having the Power Fist so you can wound easier? If you're just using the Power Fist to wound easier with the squad because you're not really worried about striking at initiative, then maybe you should just keep it at Power Fist. Thunderhammer isn't really necessary. At the same time, if you're worried about going at initiative, you're going to have to look at power weapons or lightning claws. It really is not a debate in terms of which one is better. Any gamer type of person will have their preferences and be opinionated and be like, no, this weapon is the better one, take this or you're doing it wrong. And they're quite frankly dumb people. That's not true. You can survive without having one Power Fist in your Space Marine army. You can do it. You guys rely on shooting for some of the heavier stuff, but that's what we have the big guns for. It all depends on what your tactic is. And if you're more worried about popping things at range and going in and slaughtering them at initiative so they can't get as many attacks in before your cool power weapon goes, then look at a power weapon or a lightning claw. If you're more worried about beating them to death, and whenever you get hit, you pretty much guarantee the wound against infantry and you have a really good shot at hurting vehicles, Thunderhammer or Power Fist. Now, I will say, if I have a Power Fist or a Thunderhammer, in this case, since we're talking about Thunderhammers, on a guy, I won't give him Melt-the-Bombs, just because I don't find it necessary. Now, it is a nice thing to have still, especially if it's immobilized. I'd rather use the Melt-the-Bomb because it's the same strength value, but 2d6. But I just won't do it because I have all these attacks with the Thunderhammer. Something's got to go right for me. However, if you take somebody with lightning claws, I would suggest investing the extra points for the Melt-the-Bombs. In the scenario you have a vehicle that's prime target for assaulting, you don't want to rely just on the crack grenades with the squad, but have a Melt-the-Bomb wild card on top of that. So that's really pretty much it for lightning claws and Thunderhammers. There's not too much more to say about them. One's pretty much an enhanced power weapon, one's pretty much an enhanced power fist. Same thought process for utilizing them applies. It's just the lightning claw rerolls fail rolls to wound, and the Thunderhammer does the whole bringing initiative models to initiative 1 and shaking vehicles on the damage chart regardless of what they roll. So just gotta weigh it. Do you want to spend the extra points for the benefits that these weapons give you? I like them. Other people do. Some people don't. Will you take it? I know personally I won't take it unless I know I have the points to spend for it. I'm more of a shooting guy, so I'd rather get more shooting in there, more enhanced shooting weapons in there. But I also don't really field units that can take Thunderhammers. I don't have Company Veteran Squad or anything like that for my Dark Angels, at least not yet. So just things to think about. It's not just about, oh, Power Fist, Power Fist, Power Fist, or Power Weapon, Lightning Claw, or whatever. It's more of, you gotta build your list, you gotta look at what you have both in range, and you gotta look at what you have in close combat potential, and supplement it accordingly. Anyway, that's the end of that babble. Hopefully it wasn't too boring, and until next time, take it easy.